Hey guys, and welcome back to the Chaotic Kids channel, where I'm Michelle and making fantasies come true, one story at a time. And today we are going to be talking about a book that I recently read, which is A Light in the Shadows by Anna. I don't know how to say her last name, but there it is. This is basically a memoir for her dad. It's a biography of her dad and his last couple days in life. Well, actually, it would probably be more realistically like a last year and a half of his life. I don't remember if it's said exactly in the book. But real quick, this book is no longer available online. I was lucky enough to pick this up at a local mission, which makes sense because this is more of a local book. But the author is a Kansas person, and I'm a Kansas person as well. But the book is no longer available due to the fact that it was published with Vanity Press. Vanity Press went out of business, and unfortunately this book is only available through random books that have already been purchased. But I gotta say, I feel really privileged to have gotten to read this book. And it, like, everything leading up to me reading this book and, like, finding this book even, like, it was pure fluke. Like, I just happened to be in town at that day. I try not to leave town all that often. Leave my house all that often just because gas is expensive and stuff. And, like, I'll say, just real quick, I get the cheapest gas. Like, I get the E85 gas. And I live in Kansas in a small town, so gas is relatively cheap. And I can only imagine what it's like for bigger cities. Luckily, I have some advantages, like, not advantages, but, like, I've got some quality like, being from a small town's nice, you know? And having family members to help me is awesome. But anyways, just getting to read this book, I feel like I honestly know the family a little bit. And this honestly has to do with a lot of the fact, like, they are a Catholic family. They were born and raised Catholic. And also I learned, so I asked my grandma if she knew the dad's name. And she actually did know who he was. Like, not personal details, but she knew of him. Actually, they kind of grew up in the same-ish area, which I was like, that's really cool. I might ask her more about it, but I don't think she really ever communicated with them, you know? But this dad's story was really cool and really inspiring because, like I said, he is a Catholic. He was a devout Catholic. And him and his family were really close-knit. And they just remind me of my mom's side of the family. Not so much my dad's side, because I feel like with my dad's side, there's more arguing happening. Rather, with my grandma's side, there's more like farming and just smart aleck remarks kind of thing. Even though there is smart aleck remarks on both sides of the family. But yeah, it's just, it was a really nice thing to just see, like, the experience. Like, I don't know, like, seeing my family's not the only one that has this, like, jokey mannerisms and stuff. But so the dad died of advanced cancer, and this is kind of the years leading up to his death. And it was just truly remarkable to see how this family, which was a larger family, came together and did all this stuff for the family. So the family originally lived on a farm, and they, like, the kids were able to maneuver some stuff around. You had a townhouse for the family, like, for the parents. They remodeled it all by themselves, and I'm just like, that is so cool. And I'm honestly like, my dad will never leave his house, but it just reminds me, like, of my house, because, like, my dad and I are remodeling it, you know. And it's not necessarily because dad is, like, he's paying for the house, but, like, he's doing it because that's how he shows his love to me. And it's just so remarkable to see how, like, love works mysterious ways. And for this family, that's how the kids showed love for their dad, especially when he was coming to the end. Like, not coming to the end because he was coming to the end eventually. But, like, at that point, he wasn't fully not in a good shape, but, you know, they were all looking out for their mother, and mothers are the caretakers and they deserve to be cared for. And, like, I don't know, just the whole story was so remarkable. I love the story and the love that these parents had, like how the father kept looking out for the mother, wanting to do small things to make sure that she was taken care of even after his death. There's points whenever like he was about to die, he bought a card for her, and the whole story was so beautiful. And like I don't plan on ever having like a significant other. I think I've told you guys I want to become a religious sister. Or if you guys don't know, I want to become a religious sister. But like just thinking like of my mom, since she's passed away, she used to give cards out for our birthday, for Christmas. She would just give out cards, and you'd have her handwritten signature, and sometimes she would write stuff in it, but mostly it had your name and her signature. And it's the little things. Like I just thinking like I never will get to see her signature again. Like just having that moment of seeing her signature, that like the thing, I don't know, the thing that's most unique to them, you'll never see again. But yeah, it was I love this story. Well, I say story, but I love the memories that this daughter was able to encapsulate on her father's life and his legacy. And as I said, this is a very Catholic book, and like this dad was devout. And there's moments towards his death, like he was bedridden, and his family would sit around his bed singing hymns, praying to the Lord, like doing all this like essentially church things that like, say for me, like my family, like those are pretty much reserved for the church, like church times, rather than everyday occurrence around the house. And part of me is like thinking like, okay, what if this like my idea for sisterhood does, like to become a sister doesn't become true? Then I'm like, if I ever have kids, then that's kind of how I want to raise them. Make it so church isn't something that's like taboo. Not taboo, but something that's reserved only for Saturdays or only for Sundays, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I'm trying to install that in me now, though it's sometimes hard. But I'm trying to install that, like, Sabbath days are supposed to be kept holy, and it's okay to go to church every day and just pray rosary, praying and just doing stuff for in the goodness of God's grace and stuff. But yeah, this story was just so remarkable. I loved it. I don't give star ratings on this book, but I gotta say I loved it. And honestly, like, even if I did give star ratings, I wouldn't do it for this book because it's a nonfiction book. But definitely heavily enjoyed this book. And as I said, it was a Vanity Press book release. And I don't know if it's possible, but I would say, like, if the author or the author's family was able to, like, get this book back and released out into the world, I would be, like, I wouldn't read it again because, obviously, I've already read it, and I don't think I need to reread it again. But it would still just be something to, I don't know, like, continue sharing the grandfather's life or the dad's life or whomever it is to whomever. But it makes me think of, like, the books that I'm doing for, like, my grandma and other things like that. Like, I would just keep it in release, and then every time, say, like, a grandkid was born, or even great-grandkids, then give them a copy of this book being like, this was your grandpa, kind of thing. Which I think is really cool. And, yeah, I don't know. Everything about it, like, everything about this story was so remarkable, and it inspires me to strengthen my relationship with God, and also to possibly think about doing more memoirs slash like books about people's faith or just their stories to tell. Kind of around here, I had ideas of doing this back last year, but like going to other people and being like, hey, do you want me to tell your story? I can write it for you. You can, and if you want me to print off copies, I can, and then you can give them to to whomever. And then, like, also, like, obviously I'd get paid a little bit, but I wouldn't make it a huge extravagant amount, you know? Like, I would just want this to be something for them to share. And I think that would be really cool. But anyways, I just love this story. Again, not available, but heavily enjoyed. It definitely inspired me. And just gave me hope that there's still good out there in the world. And yeah, it's a good book. I'm actually going to be giving this back to the mission that I got it from. Like, it only cost me 25 cents to get this, but like, it keeps the book in rotation. And also, hopefully, it'll help someone else out there want to read the book and get to learn of this great man's story. There's a point where there's a priest that was very close to the family, and he pretty much was like, the father may never be a canonized saint, but to him, he is a saint. And I love that little remark of, like, he may never be canonized, but yet he is a great saint. And everything that I know about him based on this book, it sounds true. It sounds really, really true. And yeah, I don't know. It was a great read. I loved reading it. And moving forward, I'll continue reading my Christian book, which is called Breathe Deeply. I'm learning about the joyful mysteries. After that, I don't know if I have any more memoirs or books about people's lives. I have one in mind, but it's not Christian. But that doesn't matter. I just want to read books. But yeah, this has been a really great read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do these videos related to the books that I read whenever I finish one. I think this might be the 6th book in a playlist. I've also been documenting my days of reading, or at least most of the days that I've been reading, which are on Saturdays. I try to post those videos every other week because I record every other week for a reading vlog. But also on this channel, I do a lot of writing content. I am trying to work on several different books, one mainly being a young adult Christian fiction coming of age storyline where my main character has some sort of dissociative disorder. And I'm currently working on Act 3, and this is only draft 1, so I have like several drafts left to go. I'll eventually be looking for beta readers, and hopefully one day I'll be getting some critique partners. If you guys are interested in being a critique partner of me, I would be interested. Though I will be picky because I am just looking for Christian authors or people that write in Christian fiction books. If you're interested, leave a comment down below. I'll get in contact with you. But yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye!